Hello beautiful people, this video is about how can a company become more innovative. It's not about more ideas, it's about better promises. Tired of hearing about we need to innovate more and yet there's not a whole lot of follow through? Why do some companies unlock new innovations all over the place while others are still stuck in meetings? Innovation isn't magic. It's actually a way of working. It's a practice. By the end of this video, I want you to be able to understand how people really innovate, not through sticky notes and slogans, but by changing the way people make and build commitments, build trust with each other, listen to their customers, and make offers to contribute value. Innovation isn't just a team or a department. It isn't the responsibility of just a team or a department. It's actually generated from a culture of innovation and a culture of commitments and trust. If only the innovation team innovates, then you've completely missed the point of what innovation really is. The cool thing about innovation is if you shift gears for yourself and you move away from thinking of it as just ideation, people coming up with new ideas that we then figure out how we're going to execute. And you realize instead that innovation is actually a practice, and it is a practice that anyone can practice. Now, is everyone going to come up with great ways of innovating? Is everyone going to be naturally innovative? No. But it's a practice that everyone can practice and create an environment or a culture in which innovation is going to bubble up and surface. It's not just a bottom-up thing, it's obviously a top-down thing as well. And creating an environment and a culture where innovation can really thrive requires a level of sophisticated leadership that very few companies actually manage to realize. Real innovation, leapfrog innovation, actually solves meaningful problems. One of the problems that the iPhone solved was the ability of people who had limited eyesight to be able to talk to a technology that would actually help them navigate their lives. I worked at SRI, which used to be called Stanford Research Institute, and the team that built Siri were the people, and that ultimately got incorporated into the Apple iPhone, were the people who were looking to be able to help people who had limited sight or limited visibility, or people who were fully blind. They wanted to be able to create a technology that they could talk to and could talk back to them and help them. And I don't know about you, but I use Siri every single day and my eyesight's pretty good. So what happened with that was people were trying to solve a real problem based on something that they deeply cared about and that they knew could have a huge impact on other people's lives, and they came forward with something that has impacted all of our lives. So the meaningful problems are the meaningful concerns that people have where they see opportunities. If we can create an environment where those are something that people pay attention to and listen to, and one of the ways that we do that is we start listening to each other. And we're not very good at that. Listening to what matters to another human being is something that we haven't necessarily been trained to do. If you want to be able to help your company be more innovative, one of the first things to do is to help people actually be able to listen to each other. And I don't mean active listening where I'm repeating back to you what it is that you said, or I'm leaning forward to help you know that I'm really serious about what you're saying. What I mean is I'm listening to what it is that matters to you. If I start doing that, I have to be able to answer that question for myself, what matters to me. Once I start down the path of understanding what matters to me, and I can expand that to understanding what matters to you, over a period of time, if I'm putting those practices into place, and it is a practice, and there are structures and frameworks to help you with all of that, and I talk about that in my book, The Innovation Mindset. But one of the things that I've seen consistently is when people start listening to themselves and they start listening to other people, they start expanding that capacity to start listening to a group of people, to start listening to a market, to start listening to another department. And over time, what they do is they build that capacity to be able to see opportunities or unique problem sets or unique value that they can then begin to bring to the table based on their ability to be able to listen to other people, both within their organization and outside. Once people start doing that, they need a support mechanism. And that support mechanism is trust. If you're not able to build an organization where trust is recognized as being a key strategic asset, then you're not going to be able to build an organization that sees innovation as a practice and is able to practice that innovation ubiquitously across the organization. Trust is absolutely fundamental to what it is that you're looking to do when you're looking to make your company more innovative. Lots of people, when they come into organizations, they tend to think of other people as the people who should be innovating, or other people who have the capacity to innovate, and they don't necessarily think of themselves as innovators. As you look to make your company more innovative, I really invite you to start thinking of everybody as innovators. Because here's the coolest thing about innovation. It comes from the perspective that people have of the world and of life, the interpretations that they build for themselves. The amazing thing about humanity, which is why it's endlessly fun hanging out here, is that though every single person has a different perspective, every single person has a different interpretation. And those perspectives and interpretations are what actually are the real drivers of our innovation. The context that we innovate in is one where we are making offers to each other, is one where we are building trust with each other, is one where we are listening to each other. But our perspectives and our interpretations are what's the real kind of juice to make all of that happen really powerfully and really effectively. One of the best ways to tap into this is to encourage high quality offers from everywhere. So build a leadership team that's committed to listening to offers regardless of where they come from. Because sometimes the most improbable people or improbable places are the ones that are going to come up with incredibly powerful offers that will improve a process, that will improve customer satisfaction, that will leapfrog you towards being able to dominate a market. They can do the most incredible things when you open up the doors to create a culture that allows offers to be accepted, celebrated, appreciated, and acted on. There are many organizations that I've worked with where some of their existing processes actually block new offers. So they might have a process that requires sign-offs and approvals, lots of them, and people just give up when they kind of look at the size of that mountain. They might have a process that doesn't allow people to spend extra time outside of their job description, that allows them to be able to do cross-functional work with other departments, even though your organization's probably screaming for that. So when you look at your process infrastructure, make sure that you're removing the roadblocks. Make sure that you're creating an environment where people are excited about making offers, where they're willing to take on the extra effort of making an offer, where they have frameworks and an understanding of how to go about doing that, and where their leaders are actually willing to accept that and willing to help them coach to what I refer to as the 25%. So invariably when someone junior to you makes an offer to do something, it's the beginning of them looking upwards in the organization to see what's working and what's not working, or looking horizontally across the organization to see what's working and what's not working. That is the generative practice of innovations that they are going to make in the future. If you can cultivate that in a way that allows them to be able to recognize that if they come to you with something that is somewhat half-assed or somewhat half-baked, what you can do is you can coach them to that extra 25% that'll notch them up to the next level and help them make a more powerful offer next time. So whenever you see an offer coming to you, or you have a leadership team that you can train to see offers coming to them, treat those as the valuable generative element of innovation, because that's what they really are. Momentum's really important as you go through this process. So as you work with offers that are coming in, or ideas that are coming in, or things that people want to be able to accomplish and they want to make offers around them, make sure that what you're doing is you're not waiting for the perfect one. You're not dismissing 5 or 6 of them because you're waiting for X person to come in with something better. Make sure that you are identifying useful ones or promising ones, and that you're helping the person take action on those, and you're giving them the resources and the help that they need in order to be able to deliver on the offer that they want to make. Because if you start shutting them down, you're actually shutting down the generative element of your innovation. The most effective way I've found to build innovation when you are beginning to cultivate it and kind of almost like you do with a flower. You're trying to grow it into something more than it currently is. And you have to do it very gently and very carefully and very systematically, and you have to know what it is that you're doing. Is you want to be able to start small. Really, I can't overemphasize that, start small. I say to any of the people that I'm working with, we're going to do a small pilot. We're going to make sure that pilot works and that pilot is successful, and then we're going to move on to the next one. Make sure that when people come to you looking to be able to boil the ocean and solve a massive problem with something innovative that they want to do, that you pull them back from the brink and you help them do something small where you can pretty much guarantee they're going to be successful. So as you look to build a company that is more innovative, to help your company be more innovative, remember that what you're looking to do is you're looking to understand innovation is a practice. It isn't just about ideation. It is about building a practice and a culture and an environment in which people are building trust, making offers, doing deep listening with each other, being able to understand what matters to each other, what matters to their customers, what matters to their bosses, what matters to the market in general, and then create an environment where it's safe to go and do that. As you go through the process looking to make your company more innovative, there's another video that I recommend that you watch. It is called How to Encourage Innovation in a Team. I think it'll help you with this journey. As you go through the process, let me know in the comments how you're doing. Ask me questions. I'm happy to answer them. I'm in online a couple of times a day answering questions. I would love to hear from you. Let me know how it goes for you, and I wish you the absolute best of luck. This is an important charter you've set for yourself. Take care and good luck.